No more weeds. We're not getting into that. That 1.8 ounce measurement is kind of ingrained into at least me nowadays. I'm not mad about that. And if we go with that, that doesn't make me angry. Oh, great. What have I given you? What have I done now? Next up. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the Knife Center. And we're back from Blade Show, and we got a bunch of cool new knives that have just hit our shelves. If you didn't see our Blade Show coverage, go check it out if you don't mind. We'll leave a link to the playlist for that. And we do have some things on the table today that we brought back from Blade Show for you guys. We'll get into some of that as we go along. First up, it's not from Blade Show. It's this little guy right here. And this is something that came out a couple months ago, but they all got snapped up so quickly that I never even got to see them until like today when we're doing this video. This is, and we have some back in stock finally. So here we go. This is, I don't know. They're still here while we're filming anyway. This is from Kizer, and this is the Snail-Trail, a Caleb Waldman design. It's about $50, and it has, I guess it operates similarly to how the Fox Radius operates. You push down on this button here, and then you can rotate it around. You get this tiny little hawkbill blade of AEBL. Do you want to know the blade length? Really? Do you? It's like less than ½ inch. But this is a great little box and package opener, essentially. It's not meant to be anything more than that. And then you push the button and you can rotate it back into the closed position. You can also, as you can see, simply pull on the jimping on the back right there. There is a fairly, a stiff enough detent so that it's not just gonna pop out, or it's not just gonna slide out on you. It does require a positive motion. And actually, even though I said you have to push down on the button, that's not true. You just have to push along the arc until you break the detent. This one is in blue aluminum, which is cool. There are a couple other flavors available, but this is the only one that's actually available right now as we're filming, and it does come with a couple of little keychain hangers or loops that go in the little lanyard hole right there. Really cool little unit, and the blue looks really good. Next up, debuting at the Blade Show and available right now, my latest collaboration with Igor Bortolussi and StraightLine EDC. This is the Bigger Digger, a larger version of the Digger, which was released last year. The Digger was a spay-bladed, pocket carryable fixed blade.
Was it though?
Yes. Don't start with this reverse Tonto nonsense, Thomas.
That?
Well, in order to remove one arrow from Thomas's quiver, we have changed the Bigger Digger to a drop point blade. It seemed a little more in keeping with the larger size that we have here, which is about a 3 3/4 inch blade, 14C 28N steel, just like the standard Digger. Thin enough blade with a full flat grind. It's going to be very slicey, but 14C is a very tough stainless steel as well. The handles are actually no thicker than the standard Digger, but they are longer and of course a little bit taller. And for my slightly larger than average hands, I can just barely get a full gorilla grip on this knife. And that was the idea. It was kind of keeping it into like that just barely territory, because we wanted to keep this a pretty compact package. Is it pocket carryable? We're stretching it a little bit, but I would say yes. Let me show you the sheath in that regard. It is
cargo pockets.
It's taco style Kydex to keep it as slim as we can. And it does come with a belt attachment here, this kind of slim dots style. It's got 2 rows of buttons right there, or 2 rows of holes in it. So this works horizontal or vertical quite nicely, but if you were to throw an ulti clip on here, you would have a fair amount sticking out of the pocket, but this is definitely just barely within the realm of pocket carry. Or you could carry it on the belt. It's going to work great there. Great as an everyday carry, great as a food prepping knife, a smaller food prepping knife. Hunting knife, be a great option. And back to that size again, wanted something very compact, easy to carry, not just for bigger folks like myself. For anyone who has smaller hands, this could be a phenomenal size without having to carry around the extra bulk of a larger handle. But you still get, that's a full-size blade, almost 4 inches, good all-around size and shape. And, it's not a nest muck, but I did have to give it a little bit of a humpiness to it, because that's just me. Almost full-length jimping as well, which adds a different flavor to it. Plenty of traction on it. Yeah, the edge here, just a hint of guard. The edge doesn't grind all the way through to where the finger is, so there is some protection there. That's the bigger digger. Oh, I didn't mention the price. Here's the thing about the original digger. The sheath on that knife was very expensive. It was made in Italy. It was the magnetic pocket sheath thing, and it was quite expensive. The Kydex sheath, which was made alongside the knife by Bestech, way cheaper. This is an $80 knife, which is significantly cheaper than the smaller digger. 80 bucks. Do with that information what you will. Lanyard point at the back, I didn't mention that. So yeah, that's the bigger digger. Very happy to be working with Igor still and to bring it to you folks. Next up, exclusive time. It is the Umnumzaan from Chris Reeve, a very hot knife these days. And we have worked with them to revamp and bring back the Doppler pattern. And now it is the reverse Doppler right here. Both blade shapes, Magna Cut steel, 3 5/8 of an inch long. You've got the clip point or harpooned clip point, if you want to call it that, and the Tonto profile, each with their hollow grinds and the stone-washed finish. Good working finish. And they're at $710 right now. The Doppler pattern starts, instead of on the old hole that was here on the Sabenza, starts at the pivot, gets further out, and gets milled deeper the further away from the pivot it gets. So it's a little bit different than the original Doppler, but even cooler in my opinion. Really, really nice. Easy access to the frame lock release right there. You have got the over travel stop on the back, of course, and the protruding tang here when it's in the closed position to use that as a striking point or even a glass breaker on the end. Titanium handles, of course. 2-pinch position pocket clip for ultimate security. The fob with the barrel on the back. And yes, you can flick it out with a little bit of practice. People say you can't flick a Sabenza or a Chris Reeve knife. I beg to differ. Here they are. Limited quantities. Available now. And they're very cool. Yeah, they turned out really, really good. That reverse Doppler is
Tomorrow.
ace. Say what?
Tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas. Good point. These are not available now. I am sorry. These are launching tomorrow, Friday morning. Apologies if you got this far and are already at the website. Shoot. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, Friday morning on the East Coast. That's as specific as I can be because they're still figuring out exactly when they're going to push it live, but it will be available then. Thank you, Thomas. These are available right now. If they are still available by the time the video goes up. I'm sorry. These are some of the stuff we brought back from Blade Show. This is the Shark-A-Tac from Demko Knives. This is the first time, or actually, at the show was the first time I'd finally been able to get my hands on one of these, and I really, really like it. Compared to the AD20, which we've got some interesting ones here, the handle shape on the Shark-A-Tac is much more neutral. So if you weren't a fan of the more kind of secure and aggressive holding pattern of the shape of the AD20, this could be for you. Titanium handles, Magna Cut steel, 3.5 inches, $725 for these. Comes, of course, with the Shark Lock, which is very fun. Sounds and feels phenomenal in use. It actually works, too. Sounds and feels phenomenal in use. It's like super mechanical. And it's ambidextrous, and it gives you that finger-safe closing path of the blade as well. Pocket clip is reversible, maintaining the ambidextrousness of the knife itself. And there's 3 different options right now for the backspacer. There's a flush mount, or a flush fit. There is the ball bearing, and then there is a pointier carbide tip glass breaker option for the end. The ball bearing here kind of splits the difference. It gives you that hard point where you could use it as a glass breaker, and yet it is less pokey in the hand when you're using it. So good middle ground. The blade is pretty cool. It says clip point on the website, but even though there's a transition here, it does have an arc down, so it's a little more like a drop point actually. And the blade is not super thick. It's not super thin either, but it's definitely not as thick as your standard AD20 right there. So it's going to slice a little better. Stonewash finish on the blade and on the handle, keeping it looking good, or looking the same at least, for a long, long time, even as it gets beat up from use. Very cool. Next up, we have the new blade shape here, this new Skinner style blade, or they call it the Butcher blade. apt, accurate. And they also are calling what it has here a dynamic grind, which, you know, similar things that you might see to like the Hinderer slicer grind or something like that, where the geometry of the flat grind here at the heel of the blade is a little more robust, and then it thins out as you get closer to the tip. So all of that belly that's going to be doing the slicing has a little bit more efficiency, a little bit more ease of use. And then when you're kind of, you know, using it roughly or pushing into like some chunkier wood carving or whatever types of cuts, you've got more stability behind the edge right here. Dramatic differences? Maybe not, but noticeable ones anyway. Textured red G10 on this one. We've got a few handles available, at least at this point. I believe it still comes with the 2 pocket clips, so even though this is a right side biased pocket clip, you should have an option to make it lefty. Shark lock, very cool. Very cool blade shape. Vaguely, slightly nest mucky, but I think they nailed it with the butcher nomenclature. Yeah, butcher knives and nest muck blades, they're very close. And it can be a blurry line between them sometimes, but I think it's a very cool blade. And cool to see them continuing to offer new options on the 8020. By far their flagship knife for sure, or signature knife anyway. Maybe, yeah, we can debate the meanings of those terms all we wish. This next knife is like the Umnumzaan, something that is going to drop tomorrow morning, Friday morning, the day after this video posts. The sprint run of the Meerkat from Spyderco, the newest sprint run, essentially. Spy 27 steel, which is proprietary to Spyderco, should give you similar performance to like the S35 range, you know, S30 to S45, those types of steels. Very stainless, holds an edge quite well, yet somehow, like similar to those steels, yet somehow manages to strop back to a sharp even easier than those steels. It doesn't make 100% sense, but it does work like that, which is pretty cool. Drop point blade, 2 inches long, full flat grind. Not a ton of reach, but a very efficient performer in that range. And you can still get 4 fingers on the knife. You've got a finger choil, guarded finger choil at the front, and this kind of landing spot for your pinky at the back. Unless you've got really big hands, you should be able to get all 4 on here. Maybe not super comfortably if you do have really big hands, but it can be done. And yes, I can gorilla grip when I need to, as you can see right here. We've got a wire pocket clip, tip down configuration, left or right, which is a little bit different from most knives nowadays. Here's the fun part of the Meerkat. I don't know what they call it, but to unlock it, you actually push right here on the scale. You slide that down. See if you can see how that's going there. And then you can close the blade. There it is. Nice tidy little package when closed. Opens super easily, one-handed. It is a 2-hand closer pretty much any day of the week. I don't know how I would even attempt to close this one-handed. Oh. Ooh. Sketchy, but it could be done. I didn't feel great about that.
Professional driver on a closed course.
Yeah, do not try this at home. There you go, Sprint Run Meerkat, very cool. Next up, Spyderco's first official plunge-style button lock. The ButtonUp is here. Price on this is about $78 and some change. You're getting a 3 1/4 inch blade. It can be had in the black or a satin finish, and it is HCR series stainless steel, nice and thin, crazy slicey. And I like the blade shape here. It kind of mimics a mod that I have done to, well, it was a Para 2, PM2 blade that I put onto a Para 3 handle, shortened it, and then kept the spine pretty much straight until right at the end where he did that little drop right there. So that's pretty cool. We should charge Eric for royalties. No, that wouldn't be right. What I like about that, instead of the straight spine that you get on like the Para series of knives, is I can get into a cut, like pierce this way, and then lift up, and I can just zip along the surface here and cut like plastic film, plastic packaging that's on something without slicing what's underneath. I do that like all the time. So I like that blade shape here. Handles are G10 with a peel-ply carbon fiber overlay on each side. And of course, you've got the button lock there for wrist flicky goodness, finger-safe closing action, left or right utility, very easily reversible pocket clip. Grip, 3.5 finger grip back here, but with the guarded finger choil, there is more than enough real estate up there for even larger hands. There you go, the ButtonUp. Last but not least from Spyderco, we have the Mantra 4, which has arrived now. 71 and some change for this, 3.34 inch blade. And again, we're dealing with 8CR series stainless here. Elliptical leaf or drop point shape here, full flat grind, nice and thin, very, very slicey, and very precise feeling when you grab it. It's got that same kind of G10 with carbon fiber laminate on the outside, inset liner lock, wire pocket clip there as well. But there's a nimbleness, there's a lightness to it. It feels light for its size. What are we dealing with here? Oh, dang, 1.9 ounces. So it's 0.1 of an ounce heavier than a Benchmade bug out, which that 1.8 ounce measurement is kind of ingrained into at least me nowadays. But you do have more edge length than the bug out. You won't have as much edge retention as the bug out, but you know, bug out also doesn't cost $71 either. So yeah, that's the Mantra 4. Works really nicely. You can do that reverse flick, I promise, pretty well, as you can see. You've also got, of course, the thumb hole or the very subtle flipper tab here at the back, which works, for as subtle as it is, surprisingly well. But what's cool is because of its subtle design right there, you almost forget it's a flipper when it's open. There's no flipper tab to get in the way. You've got jimping there instead, and you can get right up behind the edge, which is a really nice design touch. All right, the next knife also has a G10 handle with carbon fiber overlay, or just a G10 handle. The Rat 1.5. 2 new versions of this with the Magna Cut steel. We're at $95 for the brown G10 with the texturing, and then about $98 for the carbon fiber version right here. Really cool that Blue Ridge, the owners of Ontario, now have come out with the 1.5. Neatly splits the difference between the 1 and the 2. They averaged it out, don't you know? For a lot of people, the Rat 1 is probably more than it's more than is necessary for a lot of people. If you carry a Rat 1, don't come at me, bro. I hear you, I get you, it's a great knife. But for those people that's too much, but they want more than the 3-inch blade of the Rat 2, the 1.5 is a great option. And so far, it's only been out in the higher performance Magna Cut steel, giving you a stainless that is both tough and holds an edge really well in a way that no other kind of particle metallurgy stainless has ever managed to do these days, which is really nice. You've still got plenty of handle length, even though it's the in-between size. Even behind the finger guard here, I've got almost a full 4-finger grip. Certainly feels very secure, and if I'm orienting forward, I don't feel like I'm missing handle there at all. But you have this wide ricasso here. If you want to choke up just a little bit, you can absolutely get a really full grip on the knife, even if you're wearing gloves, despite it being the 3¼ inch blade size. Really nice knife. Drop point works for just about everything. It's thin, it's slicey, so it's going to be very satisfying to use. You've got a 4-position pocket clip, so everyone should be happy. Can't make everybody happy these days.
You can make everyone mad, though.
Can make everyone mad. And it pops open really nicely on the washers that it runs on. Not the plastic or Teflon. It's nylon washers, I think, on the standard. But we actually have phosphor bronze washers on this more upgraded version. Pretty cool. Next up, we have another compact everyday carry fixed blade. This is the Kiboku, designed by Lucas Burnley and made by Boker in Solingen, Germany. Not a Boker Plus, this is a true Boker, so to speak. The steel is RWL 34. It is about 3 inches long in the blade, and it's running about $262 for this one, but there are some that are more and less expensive depending on which handle you get. This is the Topo milled burgundy Richlight, or redstone Richlight. It looks really good. And I am really digging this knife a lot. The shape definitely looks Burnley-esque. The blade especially looks Burnley-esque. It's the way he does a drop point is kind of like inimitable. It is very recognizable, very useful looking, and to my eye, very graceful as well. Yeah, that's going to be a great user. RWL 34 steel, if you're unfamiliar, is basically CPM 154. I won't get into the whole family tree, but so it's essentially a powder metal version of 154 CM. All right, I'm getting into the whole family tree. All right, ATS
family weed.
ATS 34 and 154 CM are metallurgically the same. One was, ATS was made in Japan. The CPM or the 154 CM was made in America. CPM 154 is a powder metal version of 154 CM, which makes it tougher. RWL-34 is a powder metal version of ATS-34. And RWL stands for Robert W. Lovelace, Bob Lovelace, who was a big fan of ATS-34. Weeds?
Oh, they've been there.
Weeds. Cut them down. Anyway, all that is to say, very tough using steel with respectable edge retention as well from this knife. Here is the sheath. It is Kydex. I guess it does not come with an attachment. Is that correct, Thomas?
There's a clip in the box.
There's a clip in the box. That's right. We saw it at Blade Show. It has a little clippy thing that you could use to clip it inside the waistband or in the pocket, or if your belt is thin enough, it'll work on a belt, but probably most folks' belt will be a little too wide for it. Yeah, so another knife that is a little bit on the larger side for a pocket fixed blade, but it is a little bit smaller than the bigger digger we looked at, so it should be a little bit easier in the pocket right there. I don't even want to say it's stretching too much. Like, that would be very pocketable if you chose to pocket it. Maybe you should. I'm David C. Anderson, and I approve this message. They're really cool.
Clip that for something else now.
Oh, great. What have I given you? What have I done now? Next up, for about the same price, actually, we have an American-made knife that is much larger. The materials are not as premium, however, to $62.99 for the Tops Knives Badger Creek right here. So you can get small with high-performance steel, or you can get big with less high-performance steel, which is not to say it's bark and basement steel, but it's not powder metal here. 6-inch blade, clip point, very butcher knife in its styling here as well. N690 CO steel, so it is quite stainless, decently tough as well for a hard-use outdoor fixed blade. Thickness is about 3/16 of an inch right there. What do we got? 0.19. Yeah, it's about 3, because that's 1.875. It's 3/16, don't you know? They meant it rounded. Micrometers are working today. Despite the thickness, the full flat grind should keep it slicey enough for any kind of like field butchering, skinning and quartering, any of that sort of stuff quite nicely. The handles will help you keep your grip on the knife in that kind of situation as well, because we're dealing with micarta with a fairly aggressive matte texture there. That should just lock in. The more wet and grimy things get, it's not going to quit on you. Bolted on, but you've also got some pass-through tubes you can use for lashing if you're into that sort of thing, or use them for lanyard holes if you're more into that sort of thing. Feels pretty good in the hand. It's not the most adaptable grip because of this this sub finger guard part here. There's a name for this, and I'm forgetting. The peak behind the finger guard gets in the way a little bit if you're wanting to use it for like a chest lever grip or other kind of like bushcrafty grips. But any kind of like pull cuts or slices are going to work really well. Pinch grips are nice because of the thumb scallops. You could even choke back on it. There's a pretty prominent bulb here at the back that's going to let you do a little hacking with it if you want to do that, which should be pretty nice. Should do pretty well at that for a smaller fixed blade, of course. It's only smaller because it's not a chopper. It's still a pretty big fixed blade. Kydex sheath comes with their dangler, rotating dangler here at the back. That's going to keep it below a hip belt or below heavy winter clothing if you're wearing this in the fall during hunting season when it gets a little chilly in some areas especially. That sheath will help you out. Next up, a smaller fixed blade. This is the Valk from the mind of Greg Schaub and built by Kansept Knives. $65 for this. We've got a 3-inch Nitro V blade with this kind of coppery finish. They call it rose gold. I still contend there's no kind of rosiness to the color right here. It's more of a copper color to me for sure. With, do you want to say it or should I say it?
Is it that hard to say modified sheep's foot?
Yeah, very good. The website does call it a reverse Tonto, but it has like that.
Well, I'm going to defer to the website.
Clipped off sheep's foot thing going here. Call it whatever you want. I give up. I don't care. Nitro V, very similar to AEBL, which is very similar to 14C28N. Actually, it's more similar to 14C than it is AEBL. No more weeds. We're not getting into that. It is a stainless steel. Very tough for a stainless steel. Holds an edge respectably. Nowhere near like MagnaCut, but it's tougher than MagnaCut. Make sense? Good. Fight me in the comments. Black G10 handles, nice and slim, protruding tang here at the back with a lanyard point. Ergos are really good for a small utility knife right here. You can push through pretty aggressively because when you grip the knife, it angles the blade down a little bit. So you really feel like you're pushing and shearing through quite nicely. And then pinch grip is great for the tip work for sure. Now the website also says it's a pocket fixed blade, Thomas. And yet the sheath is not set up for pocket carry. So what's this deferring to the website you're talking about?
Customize.
Throw an ulti clip on here. This is a phenomenal pocket fixed blade. But as it comes out of the box, it comes with this clip right here. It does have a retention hook at the bottom, but it is shaped, sized to fit on a belt, and loosen the screws here, and you can rotate it from horizontal to vertical, or any stage in between, actually. So you could angle it just so. But if you want something lower profile, I would recommend an ulti clip, and then you could do any number of other things with it. Next up, we have the Fenrir and the Wasp that both share. I'm showing them together because they both have the undead print on the handle scales right here, which they're just really cool. Like, very knife is staring at you, kind of follows you around the room as you move.
Followed me home last night.
It might have done. The Fenrir we've seen before in many other guises. This is the button lock version, 3.5-inch Damascus blade. If I'm remembering correctly, this is like a 9 and 10 CR based Damascus. $129 for this version right here. I haven't before seen this other knife though. This is the Wasp, 2.36-inch blade of 154 cm, and just under $80 with the blue clip point blade and matching deep carry pocket clip right there. That's a little bulldog of a clip point. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's aggressive. Like, you only really, you can kind of hold it this way to use the tip, but it only really wants to be held in kind of like one position, and it's like that. You know, definitely favors the tip in that if you're pushing forward. Other your kind of generic cuts might be a little tricky, honestly, given the ergos of it. Yeah, I'm not really wanting to choke up on that too much. It's a 3-finger grip and really aggressive of a cutter right there. Also comes with a button lock, as you can see right there. Flips closed really easily. To open, you could pinch the button and flick it open. Flick it closed again, finger safe. You could also front flip it, which works. You've also got a fuller there, which means it's kind of a shallow fuller, but you can still do that reverse flick, or a slow roll thumb open if you wish. So there's plenty of fidgety options there for sure. Next up, a Panchenko design. Did I mention the designers on these other ones? This is a Coke Tools design. And this one, is the Fenrir in-house? No, it's Greg Schaub. Sorry. Panchenko design here. This is the Pluto. Coming in at a more premium range from Kansept, 223, just under, with a 2.5-inch S90V blade, modified sheep's foot shape. The handles are snakeskin gold fat carbon, and they look fantastic. That's over top of titanium with an integral bolster and that bolster style frame lock right there, which gives you a very rigid lockup in the open position. Closed is really nice. Like, I love, you've got a front flipper and a rear flipper, and I love that the line of the spine here is kind of echoed at the back of the flipper tab here. It looks just like a slab of steel going through, and it's just really satisfying to me the way that kind of works out. And it works out quite nicely when you go to flip it as well. There's also a front flipper there, but I'm not going to bother because I'm over front flippers. And you've got an unguarded finger choil here at the front if you wanted to choke up for a full 4-finger grip. Otherwise, it's more of a 3-finger grip for most cuts, or get up there with the pinch and it'll anchor really nicely in the palm of my hand right there for scoring types of cuts like so. And S90V is going to give you a ton of edge retention as well. Next up from Kansept, we have from Goran Mihailovic. Joe knows Goran. I don't know if I've ever pronounced his last name correctly. Our friend Joe Flowers. This is their version, or their modernized, updated take on the Higonokami. It's got a liner lock, so it's and it's got 2 sides of the handle with scales. It's not a folded thing with a friction lock, but it's inspired by the Higo. Just under 130 bucks. Blade just over 3 inches long with 154 cm steel. You've got, in this case, copper carbon fiber and a liner lock right there. It's got a front flipper. That's the only opening method, so I guess I must. It works quite well, as you can see. Let me try. Index finger works great as well. Blade shape, very reminiscent of classic Higos. You've got that, says reverse tontail. It's in between a modified Warncliffe and a modified sheep's foot.
Yeah, it's a sax.
I'm not mad about that. If we go with that, that doesn't make me angry.
Oh, I'll find something.
Culturally, that wouldn't kind of directly apply. You know, we're talking like Asia versus Nordic heritage, where the word sax came from. But lots of weeds today. Deep carry pocket clip, single-sided in this case. Pretty gentlemanly feel, especially in this particular getup. Are there other flavors available? Yeah, there's another option with Damascus blade and swirled carbon fiber handle. So both very high-end feeling, yet not dainty. They feel very robust, quite strong. Pretty cool. Next up, from Tenable, the sub-brand of Kansept, we have the Bison, scaled down from the massive, was it 4¼ inch standard version, full inch shorter in the blade and everything else shorter, proportionally. 3¼ inch blade here on the Tenable version. Also considerably less expensive, just under 70 bucks. The blade is Nitro V. You still got that aggressive clip point, and the stonewashed finish on this one looks good. And I've always loved the way stonewashed finishes look next to carbon fiber as well. This is another G10 handle with a carbon fiber overlay. It's funny, it's like making a comeback or something these days. Interesting. We've got a bit of a finger guard at the front, which is a nice safety feature, and a guard at the back as well, which gives a nice place for your thumb to rest the way they've got it designed here, which is pretty nice. Deep carry pocket clip, single-sided, inset liner lock, kind of wide bar access there, which is pretty cool looking. And then for opening, you've got the thumb studs, but before I do, check out that closed profile. Very sleek, very considered in the way it is closed up. No gap here at the top. Nice and flush into the handle, nestles in. It looks good. And it flicks really good too. Maybe, I'm trying to say, less tactical than the bigger version, but definitely tactical inspired with that crossguard type of thing right there. But most people, this is just going to be an everyday carry. If you're looking for a tactical knife, you're probably not looking at that specifically. Next up from Tenable, Jonathan Styles design. We've got the Kitpu right here, coming in about $78 with a sub 3-inch Nitro V blade. There's a little bit of oil on it. I apologize for that. In a black finish here. Is there a hint of stonewash there? No, I guess it's not really. And then bronze frag aluminum handles right there. Cool little carry right there. Not crazy thin on the blade, so it's not scalpel levels of sliciness, but neither is it going to get in its own way when you're going to cut. Closed position, very clean. It's approaching that kind of executive knife style almost. You've got a little more exposed of the blade. Typically an executive knife is almost completely buried in the blade or in the handle. But you could get away with calling this an executive knife, I would say. Subtle flipper tab at the back. Is that a front flipper right there? I guess it is. So there you go. Even me, who sometimes struggles with front flippers, I can make that work. I give it a little wrist anyway. At least that's the way I'm feeling it right now. Or you can just use the flipper tab right there. Take your pick. Other flavors, there are several other flavors. If you're not into the bronze frag aluminum right here, there's about 5 options on the website. You can go check all of them out if you're so inclined. Ooh. It does have a very executive style deep carry pocket clip there, mounted from the tail with a flat bottom. Yeah, anyway. Next, last but not least, we've got 2 knives that we brought back from Blade Show, and I'm seeing right now that this first one has been sold. So you're not gonna be able to buy this, but I wanna show it to you real quick anyway, because I thought it was really, really cool. This is a Serge Panchenko knife, and it's a collaboration with Hawk Knives, G&G Hawk, of course, using the Hawk lock, where you're operating this pull slider right here, but it's the same type of lock you see on their Talon, and it's also got their signature pocket clip, the signature Hawk pocket clip right there, with its own little shape on it, but the mechanism is that spring-loaded thing right there, which is always just really, really cool. What else? Magna cut blade, 2 3/4 inches long. Very, very Panchenko in its shape. You've got that modified sheep's foot going on. Heavy tumbled finish across everything. Big thumb studs right there, and yes, you can open the knife with the studs without using the lock tab right there. Pull the lock back. You got finger safe closing. I was about to say it should work well for lefties or righties, but the clip is not reversible, so yeah. And it doesn't matter because someone's already bought it anyway. So I'm sorry. Last but not least, we picked up a bunch of pieces from Holt Bladeworks, and this was the one that caught my eye the most, and it was because of the way this inlay, which is Mars Valley Fat Carbon, carries the milling from the titanium at the edges into it. I hope this shows up well on camera because it's just really, really satisfying to look at. But if it's not your thing, check out the other ones because we got a really cool selection. This is the Renegade number 282 custom right here. It's about $1,900. The steel is M390 with a really high polish going on. I've got a fingerprint on it right there. I'm sorry, Thomas. I'll make sure it's cleaned off before you take your B-roll. Milled clip here on the back. And the action on these Holts is like a fine wine. It is just so, so nice. I could do that all day. I won't because this is going to belong to someone out there one day, one of these days, but so good. Like some of the best actions ever. I think maybe the only action that I can think of right now that stands out in my mind more is like a custom RJ Martin, but we're talking like no one can do what RJ does. Very few people can do what Holt does here either. I mean, this is just like, I don't know what more to say. It's beautiful. The quality is wonderful. The feel is wonderful. It operates with just wonderful qualities. It's wonderful. Check it out. We got a bunch of stuff from Blade Show, though. We'll make sure to leave a link to our whole selection of stuff. Things are getting added and turned live on a ongoing basis. So make sure to keep checking back on that link to see all the cool stuff. Or our new items page on the KnifeCenter.com. That's where all this stuff shows up too as well. Anyway, that's all we've got for now. Let me know what you thought of the knives down in the comments. And to get your hands on any of them yourself, check out the links in the description or, of course, those QR codes. If you're watching things on your TV at home, you can point your phone at one of those codes and you can head over to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program so you can earn some free money to spend on your next knife, as well as options at checkout including Sezzle if you want to break things into smaller payments. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.